Friday means live music here at ABC Ballarat and South West Victoria, and we have two Darbys for the price of one. We have been joined by Rob Darby.
Good morning. Good morning.
And Roy Darby. Good morning.
How y'all doing?
Hey, baby.
Now, before we have a chat, may we have a song to get us in the mood?
Okay.
All right.
We'll stray cat it up for you, okay?
Black and orange stray
cat sitting on a fence. Ain't got enough dough to pay the rent. I'm flat broken, but I don't care. I strut right by with my tail in the air. Stray cat strut, I'm a ladies' cat. I'm a feeling Casanova. Hey, man, that's that. She was born at me from a mean old man. Get my dinner from a garbage can.
Oh, man. Oh, it's my bad.
I don't bother chasing mice around.
Oh, no.
I swing down the alley looking for a bite. Out into the moon on a hot summer night, I'm singing the blues while the lady cats cry. Stray cat, you're a real gone guy. Wish I could be his Gary Wild, but I got cat class and I got cat style.
Oh, yeah. Ow, there. I think I'm going to play it now.
I say I don't bother chasing mice around. Oh no, I swing down the alley looking for a fight. I was howling to the moon on a hot summer night. I'm singing the blues while the lady cats cry. Stray cat, you're a real gone guy. Wish I could be carefree and wild, but I got cat class and I got cat style.
The Darbys, Rob and Roy, well done. Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
And Rob and Roy, you're not brothers.
No,
Son.
I wish we were, because that either makes him older, which probably isn't as good, but it would make me younger. I'd be quite happy with that.
Well, to use a football term, that particular song was a late inclusion today.
Yeah, we were going to Hank Williams it, but then we thought we sing a counter melody through Stray Cat, you see, which isn't in the original, and then we thought we might get more bragging points that way.
That was really neat.
Because what kind of business is it?
It's show business.
It is show business, show business. And look, if you want to see that again, I don't know exactly how Facebook Live works, but apparently if you go to Facebook Live, you can see it all over again. But just wait. There is more of a chat here and another song a little later.
Well, I hope it has better sound than when I do Facebook Live, because they have a way of crushing the sound, which is really strange.
Makes it sound watery.
Sort of comes out going, and that's when it sounds good. And the other thing is just cutting into, I hate to steal the thing.
Oh,
You're
steal
talking
away.
about phrases. Etc. Annoys because it's etc. It's et.
Etc.
And the other one is, I'm on tenterhooks. No, you're not. You're on tenterhooks.
Tenterhooks.
And just one more. You go something, anything, and nothing. No.
No, something.
They have G's on the end of them.
All of those would make... Look, there's plenty on the list already. The SMS number is 0467
Anyway,
and
you can
those
wait.
ones too. A couple that have come through absolutely loathe the word aspirational. What a rubbish political speak weasel word. That was from Doug from Ballarat.
Yeah, but the awful thing, though, is when you it's actually the height of bad manners to correct someone else's grammar. It's considered very... What's the word I'm looking for? Not good. It ain't good. And then the thing is, of course, we all make... There's other errors we make and we don't know. The one I used to do was, what was it? Irregardless. There's no such word as irregardless.
No, there isn't.
But I heard it as a child, and I used to use it all the time. Someone once picked me up and they said, that's not actually a word.
Yes.
And irregardless of that...
Well,
Now, can we get back to our music, please? Why are you...
Irregardless.
Gavin, stop sidetracking us. This is about us.
I'm sorry. No, it's about the listeners. It's about the listeners. The SMS number is 0467 842 722. Feel free to insult us if you like or heckle us. That's part of what we do here at ABC Ballarat in South West Victoria.
They wouldn't do
Okay. Well, look, let's get into your respective stories. Now, I'm probably going to start with you, Rob, because I suspect your story is a little bit longer, given that you're a fraction older.
I'm so old. I just always sort of played music. My parents didn't really play music. My dad really loved music. He used to sing all the time, but he didn't play an instrument. I grew up in the 70s. The 80s was great. In the 80s, it was wonderful because you could make a really good living playing music. Mm-hmm. And my dear old mum, who's now 87, who went through a recession and a depression as a child, said, life hasn't always actually been like that. And I went, there'll never be another rainy day. But up until the recession we had to have, as a musician, you could shake money out of anything. So I had an amazing amount of years without having to resort to doing much else. And so it was great from the age of 17 through to whatever.
Yes.
And now I'm a washed-up old man.
And what you've done, foolishly, is encouraged your son to get into the music business.
Well, as I always say of him, he says, Dad, I want to be just like you. And I said, great, another long-haired bum in the family. That's all we really need,
And in terms of hair, now, of course, this is not going to come up well on radio, but if you've been looking on Facebook, you'll see you're working on a fairly big hairdo there, aren't you?
I want to get hair like Dad, because
Well, he had his thing with Elvis. Get close to the microphone, Bob. Close to this.
Hi.
No, not too close.
That's perfect.
He had his thing with Elvis, so he was doing the Elvis cloth
Pompadour
for a while, but now it's gone. Yeah, now
it's gone a little bit Bieber, hasn't it?
Don't use that word. We don't use the B word in our family. How dare you, sir?
It's gone Elvis 70s.
Is anyone still listening? Are you still following us out there in listening land?
Well, they might be on Facebook, but anyway.
Tell Gavin about yourself.
Go on.
Well, ever since I was a child, a little kid,
Ever since I was a child, you're 12.
He turns 13 next month, yeah.
I always wanted to be like my dad. He used to. I remember when I was little, we used to go to. I used to see him play music, and I was just like, I really, really enjoyed it. And,
you silly twisted boy, you.
And I remember when I was about 7 or 8, we were playing somewhere, and I started off playing drums, and I got 2 sticks in a styrofoam box, and he was just like, we'll do it when you're a little older. And I started playing, and he was just like, and my dad was like, wow, you're really good.
You've got to actually play in time.
Excellent. Yes, that's a good start.
2 sticks in a styrofoam box, wow.
And it started with that, and in terms of actually copying what your father's done, those 2 guitars look almost identical.
They're both Martin LX1Es, so they're known as Little Martins.
They're the same ones Ed Sheeran has.
I was lucky enough to find one in a sort of recycled type shop, and I really liked it. So when it was his birthday, we managed to cobble some money together and actually bought him one. And it's quite amazing because the wear marks on them make them look like they're so old because they've been bashed around.
Like Willie Nelson's
and him liking Willie Nelson, he's managed to almost turn the guitar like Willie's guitar trigger, which is full of holes and bashes.
It does have lots of bashes on it for those who can't see. And look, you can see if you do check out Facebook Live. We'll have another song in a minute, so we'll be able to we'll hone in on those guitars to get an idea of exactly what we're talking about here. Okay, so similar. You're wearing the same outfit. The hair's
Man
getting there.
in
The
black,
guitar.
we've got the Johnny
What
Cash.
about musical styles? Do you love exactly the same thing, or do you veer off in certain directions that your father's never gone?
Well, Dad, he's been playing, rock and roll, country, blues, and I sort of, when I discovered Elvis, I discovered all the writers of his songs because he never wrote his own songs. Every song he did was covers, and I discovered that, and I told Dad facts about this was written by an old blues man back in the 1920s or 30s, and Dad would go, I never knew that. Or,
Yeah, so he'd say, well, have you heard of this? I've never heard of that. So he gave me a huge education in... so through that sort of thing, he discovered a whole batch of stuff. So
discovered blues.
He's kind of in a bubble, so he's not really listening to today's music, which was some of the top 40. I hate to sound old, but I almost have to question how much of it is really music. Sorry, out there, but it's kind of just the way
I think you'll find a lot of friends with our audience just quietly.
Yeah, there are, so he really took to it, and I think the thing I've always really disliked are pushy stage parents. So to have a child who is just so embracing of it, and I was ill for a number of years. I actually have a condition called congestive heart failure, which is no fun trying to get upstairs and stuff. But him being so keen in many ways has sort of forced me to continue on at a time where I might have hung up the instrument and said, enough's enough.
Yep.
But with him being so young and thinking, well, get him across the starting line.
Indeed.
So it's one of those things where sometimes you do need a reason to kick on.
Well, and that's as good a reason as any that I can think of. The SMS number is 0467 842 722. It's around about, it's just coming up to 19 minutes past 10 on ABC local radio. The talkback number is 1300 303 468. We have been collecting phrases that people don't like, and this one did come through. I kind of like this. Can't stand the phrase, in the future, going forward. Isn't the future going forward? That's Joan in Warrnambool. We'll get to a whole lot more of those. Now, you obviously play well together, judging from that previous performance. And you've got a gig, I think it's tomorrow night.
Yes, that's correct.
In
Dalesford.
the Spa Bar in Dalesford.
Yes, it's called the Spa Bar in Dalesford. Yes, it's just near where the railway station is. It's not quite as far out as that, but it is in town. It's
Sure. Do you do most of your gigs together, Roy?
Yeah, well, I mostly play with Dad.
Pretty much at this stage he does, and tomorrow night we have a band, so we have a bass player and a drummer. We have a few people in our books that we can utilise. If
There's a phrase that people don't like.
they don't like utilise.
No, it's use.
Is that? See, there you go. See, that's what I mean. That's why if you correct someone on their grammar, watch out, because you're about to. Pride before a fall?
Yes, that's right.
So we have a local bass player called Nick the Gun who will be playing bass, a fellow who's a friend of mine, Adam Coachy, playing drums. If we're in Melbourne, we have other people. We can scale down to a duo type thing. And it's an unusual business, show business. We could certainly do with some more interest. There's never, it is quite a heartbreaker of business. When you're on stage and you have an audience there and they're loving it, I don't think there's any better feeling. The other parts that go with it sometimes can be quite heartbreaking.
Sure. Do you have any other gigs coming up, just so that people, if they want to see and hear more?
Pretty much don't have a lot of other stuff coming up. There's a couple of private things, but we have 2 other things at the Spa Bar throughout the year. But at the moment, no, we don't have a huge amount. And I don't mind throwing myself on the mercy of anyone who's out there listening.
Well,
you need us.
Perhaps the way to do it is
And we
use
need
your
you.
favourite search engine and type in, I think Darbys.
You can find us on Facebook. The
Yep.
Darbys are on Facebook. And we used to be called the Kids from Trash.
Yes.
Yep.
Because when we started at the markets and stuff, we were the Kids from Trash and Treasure.
Trash and Treasure,
Oh, yeah, the
yes.
guys from
So-
Trash. So we called it. So there are 2 Facebook pages.
Yeah.
There's the
Okay, well,
And
check
the-
those out.
And the Darbys, sorry to interrupt, the Darbys is the Darbys featuring Roy Soulman Darby.
Yes, thank you. And that's the Darbys with an A.
Right,
Yes.
right. Okay. Well, Roy and Rob, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's all right.
Before we let you go, the rule is another song.
All right, we have an original one called 5 Minutes to Midnight.
Yeah. Blues song.
Okay. Well, it's 5 minutes to midnight, and when the clock strikes 12, It serves to remind me I'm alone here by myself, and on my hands I got way too much time. Since she gave up the ghost, I can't think her off my mind.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm standing on the platform studying the guide. No prizes for guessing, she won't be by my side. The trains keep a-coming, they don't bring my blue sky back. So wherever she's headed, it's down a one-way track. I'll play some guitar there, boy.
All right.
So pleasing and delightful, that was a tone. She was my little queenie and I sat her on the throne, but she flushed me
Down.
I went sliding down the drain into those old stormy waters and a whole mess of pain. Well, it was a pressure cooker. She was mighty hot. Now it's slim pickings from a cold, cold pot. I'm a leftover from a bygone age. I'm like some old vaudevillian out searching for a stage.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's 5 minutes to midnight. Yeah, it's 5 minutes to midnight. Well, it's 5 minutes to midnight. Oh, it's 5 minutes to midnight. Thank you, Gavin. Thank you, ABC. Much appreciated from the Darbys.
Gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure. The Darbys are Rob and Roy Solomon Darby. They are playing at the Spa Bar in Dalesford. That's tomorrow night. Get there around about 7 p.m. I reckon it's a good time.
Sounds good.
And if you want to see more, just go to our Facebook page, ABC Ballarat and South West Victoria, and relive it all over again. Thank you.
Very much.
Very much.